I'm kind of busy right now, and I don't have that much time to just sit around and make content. But I try to stay as consistent as I possibly can with content. But since I don't really have that much time, we're going to keep it short, sweet. This is just a sneak peek to some of my content that I will be uploading in the future on this channel. We're going to be talking about travel on this channel. We're going to have travel vlogs on this channel. People could call me whatever they want to call me. They could call me a passport bro or whatever. And people could sit there and they could talk trash about men who want to go overseas for dating. And they could just sit there and pretend as if every man going overseas is the same exact way. They could sit there and try to paint this idea that every single man going overseas has the very same exact intentions, right? And people can sit there and they can play dumb and try to act like they don't know and they have no clue on why a man such as myself would want to go overseas for dating, and not just dating, but overall quality of living. But dating is one of the aspects. Don't sit here and play dumb and try to act like you don't know why, okay? I think you guys know exactly why. I think some people just like to play slow, like they don't understand, or, you know, it is what it is. But one thing we need to talk about, or I'm going to talk about in the near future, is we're going to call out the hypocrisy. We're going to start talking about the passport sisters. That's what we're going to start talking about. Because nobody wants to talk about the passport sisters. Nobody wants to talk about them, when in reality, the women started doing this first. Well, no, technically not. The men actually started it, but they didn't really, the men really didn't. See, what we're talking about here is we're talking about the exploitation of people that are not doing very good financially. And there's a certain bracket of people, like, people like to make it seem as though that all these passport bros or all these men that go overseas for women, they automatically assume that they must be some type of overweight, unattractive, ugly, lack of social skills, and he just possibly just cannot get a woman. He's a complete incel who can't get a woman in America, so he has to go to a poor country or whatever. It's like, that's just not, there's so much ignorance within that thought process, and we're gonna break it all down in some future content. I'm gonna break it all down. We're gonna break it all down, but we also got to talk about these passport sisters. Some of these women are in the same exact boat. They're fat, they might be older, they might just be unattractive, and ain't no men in America really check. Like a man like me, I'm not checking for these women. I'm not checking for these women, so they gotta go overseas and get some man in Africa. These women go to Africa. These women go to Jamaica. Those are the two hot spots. I'm not exactly sure which countries, like all the countries that they go. I think they go to Nigeria. I think they go to Ghana. I think they might go to Kenya. They go to some other places too, I'm probably sure. But they go to Africa for sure. And the big one is Jamaica. So these women love going to Jamaica. And we're going to talk about that. But they want to get mad at me because I want to go to the Dominican Republic. At the end of the day, the women started this. The women started doing this before the men. The women started going to Jamaica, and they started making, going on girls' trips to Jamaica and going to Jamaica and getting with these men. And okay, now the men, we done started our thing. Now the women are mad. But the reason why the women are mad is because the men are doing it on a greater scale. The men are just doing it on a greater scale compared to the women, which makes sense. But like I said, we're going to talk about that in some future content. I can't believe, with everything going on in the United States of America, I just can't believe that people would be shocked that men would rather just go overseas to other certain Not just go overseas, but go to certain countries. And then you got the people that think it's just about going to a poor country. There's actually multiple countries that I'm intrigued about and interested in, not just for dating, but just quality of living. And not all of these countries are just poor countries. Not only that, but there's just so much ignorance to break down. Like, people are still calling the Dominican Republic a third world. Now, I'm going to the Dominican Republic in a few months, and I'm going to have a whole vlog video when I do it. I'm going to record content. I'm going to have plenty of content on that trip when I take that trip sometime next year, the beginning of next year. The Dominican Republic is not a third world country. It's actually a developing country. So you can say it's basically a second world. It's somewhere in the middle. And we're going to talk about all that. I can't believe I even got to break all of that stuff down. I didn't did it before, but I guess I just didn't do it good enough. You know what I'm saying? So y'all stay tuned in, man. We definitely are going to talk about the Passport Sisters because I'm tired of it. We got to call out the hypocrisy. These women are doing the same thing. That doesn't necessarily mean that every single woman that goes overseas is doing it for the same reasons. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if we're going to place these stereotypes on passport bros, so-called, then let's call out the hypocrisy. Let's point out the exact opposite, which is this right here, what you're looking at on the screen. So if we're just gonna say, oh, these passport bros, they're incels, they're fat and out of shape, they don't want to improve on themselves, and they rather just go overseas and take it the easy route, which there is a level of validity to that statement. There is a certain demographic of men in America and just first world nations in general, Western first world nations in general. There is a demographic of men in this country that are fat, ugly, out of shape, unattractive, but they might just have a nice amount of money. But money alone is not going to pull women unless you're in a real poor country. And the only way that it's going to work in the United States is if you got to be a multi-millionaire. You got to be a multi-millionaire. But let's say you a fat, out of shape dude in America and you got some thousands in the bank. You got some thousands in the bank. Hey, in the Dominican Republic, you a millionaire. In the Philippines, you a millionaire. In Africa, you a millionaire, multi-millionaire. So, okay, well, I can just take it the easy route and just go overseas. Okay, there is a demographic of men who do that, of course. But like I said, we're going to talk about all these things in some future content. I'm going to have some travel vlogs and some future content. It's going to be a lot, man. It's going to be a lot. But we definitely are going to talk about the hypocrisy, and we're going to talk about the Passport Sisters.